And frequent flyers are glued to this next story. Air Transat suggests it had no choice but to leave hundreds of passengers stranded on an Ottawa tarmac in discomfort for hours.
We've been faced with unprecedented events.
That was some of the words that were shared at the day 2 of a public hearing into why 2 diverted planes were sitting for up to 6 hours at the Ottawa airport back in July. The pilots on board say they didn't consider deplaning or requesting more food for passengers because they were repeatedly told they were 30 minutes away from refueling. With more, we're joined live by Gabor Lukacs from Air Passenger Rights. Good morning, Gabor.
Good morning.
I need to ask you, what is your reaction to Air Transat's defense yesterday?
Their defense sounds hollow. I don't accept it at all. You cannot say that I didn't hit you because it was my right fist that hit you, which is what Air Transat is trying to do here.
Now, what about some of their claims of just not knowing that some passengers didn't ask to get off? I would imagine that after 6 hours on a tarmac, almost everyone probably at some point would have requested off the plane.
Those claims are absurd. What I heard from the testimonies is what Air Transat's own crew described as a riot, in similar words, happening on board the aircraft, passengers chanting that they want the doors open. Those are quite clear indications that the passengers want to get off. And we have heard from passengers who testified that they asked that they wanted to get off.
What would you like to see come from this inquiry?
What I would have liked to see is Air Transat being issued a hefty fine, which the Canadian Transportation Agency has all the powers to do if it wanted to. It could issue a fine up to $3.36 million or up to $10,000 per passenger affected. However, I'm concerned in light of what the statement the Canadian Transportation Agency made, that it has absolutely no intention of issuing any fine, and that the real purpose here is to have some publicity stunt for the Canadian Transportation Agency to somewhat repair its dismal enforcement record and perhaps to whitewash one or more of the players.
All right, we'll keep a close eye on the outcome of this story. Thank you for your perspective, Gabor.
Thank you very much for having me.